Why most men fail on the first date. 6 mistakes every man makes on first date. Fellas, let's be honest. Most first dates don't fail because of the woman. They fail because of the man's unspoken mistakes. And the worst part, most guys don't even realize they're sabotaging themselves in the moment. In this video, I'm breaking down the 6 most common mistakes men make on a first date. Mistakes that instantly kill attraction and respect. If you've ever wondered why a date felt flat, why she didn't text back, or why things never moved forward, chances are one of these mistakes is the reason. So pay close attention, because once you stop doing these, your dates will never feel the same again. These are the 6 biggest first date mistakes that every man needs to avoid if he actually wants to build chemistry, create tension, and leave her wanting to see you again. 1. Goes to a theater, cinema. One of the biggest rookie mistakes men make on a first date is taking her to the movies. Think about it. You're sitting side by side, staring at a giant screen in silence for 2 hours, with zero chance to actually connect. No conversation, no eye contact, no chemistry being built. A first date is not about being entertained. It's about testing compatibility, sparking attraction, and letting her feel your presence and personality. The cinema kills all of that. She doesn't walk away knowing who you are. She walks away knowing how good the popcorn was. Save the theater for later, once you've already built that intimacy and she's invested enough to enjoy that kind of low-effort date. On the first meet, you need interaction, not distraction. Choose something that creates flow. Coffee, drinks, a walk, even something playful or spontaneous. Anything that forces you to talk, vibe, and build tension will always beat sitting in silence like strangers. 2. Plans the entire date around her preferences. Another mistake men make, and it's more common than you think, is planning the entire date around her preferences. Constantly asking, "So, what do you want to do?" or "Where do you want to go?" doesn't come across as polite. It comes across as indecisive. It signals to her that you don't have the confidence or leadership to take charge of even the smallest situation. And here's the truth. Women don't want to be your cruise director. They want to feel the security of a man who has a plan and the presence to execute it. When you offload all the decision-making to her, you're not making her feel special. You're putting her in the masculine role while you quietly step into the submissive one. That's not attraction. That's simping. A woman is far more impressed by a man who says, "We're grabbing drinks here at 7. Then I'll take you somewhere you'll love afterward," than by a man who treats her like an indecisive teenager. Show leadership, but leave a little room for flexibility. Think 80-20. You set the tone. She sprinkles in preferences if needed. That balance creates trust, attraction, and respect. 3. Orders for her without asking. One mistake that still kills the vibe on a first date is ordering for her without asking. Some guys think it comes across as confident or chivalrous, but in reality, it usually feels outdated, presumptuous, and even a little controlling. This isn't the 1950s. Women today don't want a man who assumes he knows what's best for them. They want a man who respects their voice while still showing leadership in ways that actually matter. Real leadership on a date isn't about hijacking her dinner order. It's about setting the time, choosing the spot, keeping the conversation flowing, and creating an environment where she feels comfortable and cared for. When you assume control over her plate or her drink, it doesn't communicate strength, it communicates ego. True masculinity is about knowing when to lead and when to step back. So let her decide what she eats, while you focus on demonstrating composure, decisiveness, and presence in the bigger picture. That balance is what separates authentic leadership from outdated, try-hard chivalry. Doesn't escalate physically at all. Another huge mistake men make on a first date is failing to escalate physically at all. Too many guys sit there frozen, terrified of making a move, waiting for some magical moment of clear verbal permission that almost never comes. What they don't realize is that attraction is built through energy and subtle physical cues, not just words. If you keep your hands glued to your lap and treat her like a coworker at a job interview, she'll quickly file you under nice but not exciting. The key is in the small, natural gestures, light touches on her arm when you laugh together, guiding her gently with your hand on her lower back as you walk through a door, or leaning in just a little closer when the conversation deepens. These moments communicate confidence, presence, and romantic intent without being pushy. Of course, you have to calibrate. Read her body language. Notice if she leans in or pulls away. And always respect her boundaries. But the absence of any escalation at all sends the message that you're either scared or uninterested. Women don't want a man who's afraid of tension. They want a man who knows how to build it. 5. Checks his phone constantly. One of the fastest ways to sabotage a first date is by constantly checking your phone. Every time you glance at that screen, whether you mean to or not, you're telling her she's not interesting enough to hold your attention. And nothing kills attraction faster than making a woman feel like she's competing with notifications, Instagram, or some group chat. Presence is the currency of connection. When you're fully engaged, listening, laughing, and locked in with her, that's when chemistry starts to build. But when you keep looking down at your phone, it breaks the flow, it kills the vibe, and it makes you look distracted, anxious, or worse, bored. A man who can put his device away and give her his undivided attention stands out instantly, because in today's world, focus is rare. Presence communicates confidence. Presence makes her feel desired. And presence is what separates a forgettable date from one she goes home replaying in her mind. So put the phone on silent, face down, and show her that nothing in that moment is more important than being right there with her. 6. Talks about his ex-girlfriends. One of the quickest ways to ruin a first date is by talking about your ex-girlfriends. Nothing makes a woman lose interest faster than hearing stories about other women who either didn't want you or relationships that fell apart. Whether you're sounding bitter and trashing your ex, nostalgic and reminiscing like you secretly miss her, or just being honest about your past, it all communicates the same thing: you're not fully present. And here's the truth. She doesn't care about your old relationships because what matters to her is the man sitting across from her right now. When you bring up exes, you send the signal that you're either still hung up on the past or you haven't healed from it, and neither makes you attractive. A first date isn't therapy, it's an audition for possibility. So instead of dragging old baggage onto the table, keep the spotlight on her and the moment you're sharing. Ask questions, share stories that highlight your personality, your drive, your values, things that show her who you are today, not who you were with someone else. A man who leaves his past in the past shows emotional maturity, confidence, and the ability to move forward, and that's the kind of energy women are drawn to. The first date isn't therapy, it's not confession time, and it's definitely not the place to give her a highlight reel of your romantic history. Women want to feel like they are the focus of your attention, not like they're competing with ghosts from your past. Keep your exes out of the conversation, stay present, and show her through your words and your energy that you're a man who's forward-looking and fully available. That's what makes her feel special, and that's what creates real attraction. Conclusion: at the end of the day, attraction isn't built on fancy restaurants, expensive drinks, or smooth lines. It's built on presence, confidence, and the way you carry yourself in the moment. Avoid these 6 mistakes, and you'll instantly separate yourself from the pack of men who keep fumbling first impressions. If you found this breakdown helpful, do me a favor, hit that like button, drop a comment sharing the mistake you see most men making, and subscribe if you want more raw, practical game from men who want to win in dating and relationships. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next.